Dear learners, in this video we are going to study our class 11th biology chapter first. So here it's our unit first, in which the chapter first is the living world. So firstly, here before starting our chapter, let's study this para and some more additional knowledge. Biology is the science of life forms and living processes. The processes in your body, and it's the science of life forms like respiration, excretion, breathing, etc. Reproduction. So these are some basic life processes by which we survive, and the science is called biology, the study of this living processes. The living world comprises an amazing diversity of living organisms. In the living world, there are so many living organisms, so many variety of living organisms. Okay. Early man could easily perceive the difference between inanimate matter and living organism. Inanimate matter and living organism. Living organism means that breathe and do these type of life processes. Early man defied some of the inanimate matter like wind, sea, fire, etc. Panch tattva, that are water, fire, sky, soil, air. These are the 5 basic needs of any living organism. A common feature of all such forms of inanimate and animate objects was a sense of awe or fear that they evoked. The description of living organisms, including human beings, began much later in human history. Societies which indulged in anthropocentric view of biology could register limited progress in biological knowledge. Systematic and monumental description of life forms brought in out of necessity. Detailed systems of identification, nomenclature, and classification. The biggest spin-off you need to nomenclature. Nomenclature means naming of certain species, certain orders, and families, etc. etc. So let's start our first chapter with the scientist whose name was Ernest Mayr. Born on 5 July 1904 in Kempten, Germany, Ernest Mayr, the Harvard University evolutionary biologist who has been called the Darwin of 20th century. Darwin, who says that nature selects every living or non-living organism, basically living organisms. Every living organism that he or she or any living organism can live in the nature or is fit to the nature. Okay. He was one of the 100 greatest scientists of all time. Mayr joined Harvard's Faculty of Arts and Sciences in 1953 and retired in 1975, assuming the title Alexander Agassiz Professor of Zoology Emeritus. Throughout his nearly 80-year career, his research spanned ornithology. Ornithology means in study of birds. Taxonomy means naming, and zoo geography means related to animals, evolution, systematics, and history and philosophy of biology. He almost single-handedly made the origin of species diversity the central question of evolutionary biology that it is today. He also pioneered the currently accepted definition of a biological species. So, like humans related to their ancestors and also with other organisms. Like they are advanced organism. Okay. And he also pioneered the currently accepted definition of a biological species. Mayer was awarded the three prizes widely regarded as the Triple Crown of Biology: the Balzan Prize in 1983, the International Prize for Biology in 1994, and the Crawford Prize in 1999. Mayer died at the age of 100 in the year 2004. At the age of 100, 1904 to 2004. Okay, so let's move further to our chapter number 4, that is living world. So in this chapter, the contents are diversity in the living world and taxonomic categories. How wonderful is the living world? The wide range of living types is amazing. There are so many species, so many varieties of living beings. The extraordinary habitats in which we find living organisms, be it cold mountains, deciduous forests, oceans, freshwater lakes, deserts, or hot springs, leave us speechless. It means that there are so many things in which living beings live. Their habitat, like microorganisms habitat, they can live in any situation, in salty water, in high acidic or high basic water, in marshy areas, in hot springs, etc, etc. The beauty of a galloping horse, of a migrating birds, the value of flowers, or the attacking shark evokes away and once again and awake sense of wonder. The ecological conflict and cooperation among members of a population and among populations of a community, or even the molecular traffic inside a cell, make us deeply reflect on what indeed is life. The ecological conflict and cooperation among members of a population. Members of a population cooperate each other, support each other. And among populations of a community, or even the molecular traffic inside a cell, make us deeply reflect on what indeed is life. This question has two implicit questions within it. The first is a technical one and seeks answer to what living is as opposed to the non-living, and the second is a philosophical one and seeks answer to what purpose of life is. What is need of life? As scientists, we shall not attempt answering the second question. We will try to reflect on what is living. So let's start from heading number 1, that is diversity in the living world. If you look around, you will see a large variety of living organisms, be it potted plants, insect, birds, your pets, or other animals and plants, etc, etc. There are also several organisms that you cannot see with your naked eye, but they are all around you. Like microorganisms, you need microscopes to see them. Without microscopes, you can't see them, and sometimes we need electron microscope, like to see other organisms or other so tiny beings, living beings. If you were to increase the area that you make observations in, the range and variety of organisms that you see would increase. If you increase the area of your workspace, you think more about what all around you is. So you will seek a variety of organisms around you. You will find many variety around you. You will discover so many things. You will discover so many things. Obviously, if you were to visit a dense forest, you would probably see a much greater number in kinds of living organisms in it. If you see a garden, so you will see less number of plants and animals. Each different kind of plant, each different kind of plant, each different kind of animal or organism that you see represent a species. So the number of species that are unknown and described range between 1.7 to 1.8 million. So number of species currently are between 1.7 to 1.8 million. This refers to biodiversity. Diversity means variety of plants, animals, organisms, or anything. But biodiversity means difference in diversity in plants, animals, and organisms. This is known as biodiversity, basically in plants and animals also. This refers to biodiversity or the number and types of organisms present on Earth. This refers to biodiversity or the number and types of organisms present on Earth. We should remember here that as we explore new areas and even old ones, new organisms are continuously being identified. If you explore new areas, if you go to a forest, so you will explore more plants and animals, more species, more organisms, more microorganisms, and even old ones, new organisms are continuously being identified. As stated earlier, there are millions of plants and animals in the world, around 1.7 million to 1.8 million species. We know that the plants and animals in our own area by their local names like mango, or animals are housefly. So we also need to know them with their biological name, like of mango is Mangifera indica, fly is Musca domestica, etc. etc. Like humans, Homo sapiens. Okay, so these local names would vary from place to place, even within a country. Like if I take the example of jhum cultivation, so in Mexico it is called milpa. Yes, okay, and in India it is called jhuming. So in our country it can vary from place to place or across the world. Probably you would recognize the confusion that would be created if we did not find ways and means to talk to each other, to refer to organism we are talking about. Hence, there is a need to standardize the naming of living organisms such that a particular organism is known by the same name all over the world. Like mango has only and only one name all over the world, that is Mangifera indica. Mangifera indica, and it is called as biological name. If I talk about housefly, so its zoological name is Musca domestica. Musca domestica. Okay. Hence, there is a need to so that particular numeric name and all the word. This process is called nomenclature. So, what is the nomenclature? It's the process. It's the process. It is the process by which we name the living beings, organisms, plants, and animals, which is by which name they are identified all over the world. Obviously, nomenclature or naming is only possible when the organism is described correctly and we know what organism the name is attached to. This is identification. Before nomenclature, you need to identify what the organism is and correctly name it. In order to facilitate the study, a number of scientists have established procedures to assign a scientific name, this is called scientific name, to each known organism. This is acceptable to biologists all over the world. For plants, scientific names are based on agreed principles and criteria which are provided in International Code for Botanical Nomenclature ICBN. So, for plant scientific name, who makes the scientific names of species? So, International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, that is ICBN. You may ask, how are animals named? Animal taxonomists have evolved International Code of Zoological Nomenclature ICZN, ICBN for Botanical Nomenclature, and ICZN for Zoological Nomenclature. The scientific names ensure that each organism has only one name. Description of any organism should be enable the people to arrive at the same name. They also ensure that such a name has not been used for any other known organism. Biologists follow universally accepted principles to provide scientific names to known organisms. Each name has two components, the genetic name and the specific epithet. One says that species, like in Musca domestica, the species name is domestica and the genetic name is musca. They will study it further. This system of providing a name with two components is called binomial nomenclature. This naming system given by Carlos Linnaeus is being practiced by biologists all over the world. This naming system using two format was found convenient. Let us take the example of mango to understand the way of providing scientific name better. The scientific name of mango is Mangifera indica, as I told you before. Let us see how it is a binomial name. In this name, Mangifera represents the genus, while indica particular species. In Musca domestica is the species and musca is the genus or a specific epithet. Other universal rules of nomenclature are as follows. Biological name is generally Latin and written in italics. If in books they are in italics, but you cannot write like Italian language in your notebook. So after writing Musca domestica or any scientific name, like I write Musca domestica, so it is wrong to write them like this. You have to write them like this. Another rule is you have not to join this line. This line must be differentiated. Like musca is the genus and domestica is the specific epithet. So they must be separated. And there must be an underlining in the name. They are Latinized or derived from Latin irrespective of their origin. The first word in a biological name represents the genus, while the second component denotes the specific epithet. Both the words in a biological name, when handwritten, are separately underlined or printed in italics to indicate their Latin origin. That I said you before. Okay. The first word denoting the genus starts with a capital letter always, and a specific epithet starts with a small letter, like Musca domestica. It can be illustrated with the example of Mangifera indica. Okay. Name of the author appears after the specific epithet. It means at the end of the biological name, and it's written in an abbreviated form. It means Mangifera indica Lin. It means the discoverer is Linnaeus, Carlos Linnaeus. It indicates that this species was first described by Linnaeus. Since it is nearly impossible to study all the living organisms, it is necessary to devise some means to make this possible. some means to make this possible. This process is classification. Like classification here, like this biological classification. You classify plants, animals, and organisms. So what is classification? It is a process by which anything is grouped into convenient categories based on some easily observable characters. Like mango, like cheetah and cat are likely to be same, but they are different. They are observable characters. Leopard and cat, their family is same, but that genus specific epithet are different. Leopard and cat are likely to be same. Yes. So, for example, we easily recognize groups such as plant or animals or dogs, cat or insects. The moment we use any of these terms, we associate certain characters with the organism in that group. What image do you see when you think of a dog? Dog is like this. But that image like dog, obviously each one of us will see dogs and not cats. If I talk about dog, so in your mind you will create a picture of dog, not of cat, because you know that dog is different group and cat is different group. Now if we were thinking to Alsatians, we know that what we are talking about. Similarly, suppose we were to say mammals, so there are so many mammals. You can also think about humans, dogs, cats, etc. etc. You would of course think of animal with external ears and body hair. Likewise in the plants, if we try to talk of wheat, the picture in each our minds will be of wheat plants, not of rice or any other plant. Hence, all these dogs, cats, mammals, wheat, rice, plants, animals, etc. are convenient categories we use to study organism. The scientific term for these categories is taxa, and the process is called taxonomy. Here, you must recognize that taxa can indicate categories at very different levels. Plants also form a taxa, wheat also a taxa. Similarly, animals, mammals, dogs are all taxa. But you know that a dog is mammal and mammals are animals. And therefore, animals, mammals and dogs represent taxa at different levels. Hence, based on characteristics, all living organisms can be classified into different taxa. This process of classification is known as taxonomy. External and internal structure, along with the structure of cell development processes and ecological information of organism, are essential and form the basis of modern taxonomic studies. Hence, characterization, identification, classification, and nomenclature are the processes that are basic to taxonomy. Firstly, characterization, classification. Second, identification, and third is the classification. Characterization, identification, classification, and nomenclature are the basic steps of taxonomy. Taxonomy is not something new. Human beings have always been interested in knowing more and more about the various kinds of organisms, particularly with reference to their own use. In early days, human beings needed to find resources for their basic needs of food, clothing, and shelter. Hence, the earliest classification were based on the uses of various organisms. Like you use dog as your pet animal, as your guard. Yes. Cow you use as milk, or buffalo you use giving milk. Yes. So we are based on the uses of various organisms. Human beings were since long not only interested in knowing more about different kind of organism and their diversities, but also the relationships among them. This branch of study was referred to as systematics. This branch is refers to as systematics. The word systematics is derived from the Latin word systema, which means systematic arrangement of organisms. Linnaeus used Systema Naturae as the title of his publication. The scope of systematics was later enlarged to include identification, nomenclature, and classification. Systematics take into account evolutionary relationship between organisms. Second heading is taxonomic categories. Taxonomic categories. Okay. Taxonomic categories. Classification is not a single step process but involves hierarchy of steps in which each step represents a rank or a category. Since the category is a part of overall taxonomic arrangement, it is called a taxonomic category. And all categories together constitute the taxonomic hierarchy. One second. Okay. Taxonomic hierarchy. Each category referred to as a unit of classification in fact represents a rank and is commonly termed as taxon. Plural is taxa. Taxonomic categories and hierarchy can be illustrated by an example. Insects represent a group of organisms sharing common features like 3 pairs of joint legs. It means that insects are recognizable concrete objects which can be classified, and thus we are given a rank or category. Can you name other such groups of organisms? Remember, groups represent category. Category further denotes rank. Each rank or taxon in fact represent until of a unit of a classification. These taxonomic groups, categories, are distinct biological entities and not merely morphological aggregates. This word is so okay to mind. So here I underline it. Okay. Taxonomic studies of all known organisms have led to the development of common categories such as kingdom, phylum or division, class, order, family, genus and species. Kingdom is the greatest, phylum under kingdom, division under class under phylum, order under class, family under order, genus under family and species under genus. All organisms, including those in plants and animal kingdom, have a species as the lowest category. Now the question you may ask is how to place an organism in various categories. The basic requirement is the knowledge of character not of an individual or group of organisms. This helps us in identifying similarities and dissimilarities among the individual of the same kind of organisms as well as of the other kinds of organisms. Species. Taxonomic studies consider a group of individual organisms with fundamental similarities as a species. One should be able to distinguish one species from other closely related species based on the distinct morphological differences. Let us consider Mangifera indica, Solanum tuberosum, that is for potato, scientific name for potato, and Panthera leo for lion. All the three names, indica, tuberosum and leo, represent the specific epithets, while the first word Mangifera, Solanum and Panthera are genera and represent another higher level of taxon or category. Each genus may have one or more than one specific epithets representing different organisms, but have morphological similarities. For example, Panthera has another specific epithet called tigress, and Solanum includes species like Negrum and Melongena. Human beings belong to the species Sapiens, which is grouped in the genus Homo. Its scientific name thus for human being is written as Homo sapiens. Okay. Let us come into another category, that is genus. So genus like sapiens, Homo is your genus, sapiens is your species. So it is a group of related species which is more characters in common in comparing to a species of other genera. We can see that genera are aggregates of close related species. For example, potato and brinjal are two different species, but both belong to genus Solanum. Potato and brinjal are two different species, but both belong to a genus Solanum. Lion, leopard, and tiger, with several common features, are a species of genus Panthera. This genus differs from another genus Felis, which includes cats. Family. Family is the group of related genera. Still less number of similarities as compared to genus and species. Families are characterized on the basis of both vegetative and reproductive features of plant species. Among plants, for example, three different genera Solanum, Petunia, and Datura are placed in family Solanaceae. Among Among animals, for example, genus Panthera comprising lion, tiger, leopard is put along with genus Felis. And the family Felidae. Similarly, if you observe the features of cat and dog, you will find some similarities and some differences as well. They are separated into two different families, Felidae and Canidae respectively. Order is a group of family. So like species, genus and families are based on number of similar characters. Let us move further. Class. This category related orders. For example, order Primata comprising monkey, gorilla and gibbon are placed class Mammalia, along with the carnivore that include animal like tiger, cat and dog, class Mammalia and other orders also. Phylum. What is phylum? Classes comprising among animals like fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, along with mammals constitute the next higher category called phylum. And then these based on the common features like presence of notochord and dorsal hollow neural system, neurons and nervous system like, and are included in phylum Chordata. In case of plant, classes with a few similar characters are assigned to a higher category called division. Okay. Come to kingdom. So kingdom, like there are so many kingdoms there, like Plantae, Animalia, fungi, Plantae, Animalia, fungi, and more you will study in the next chapter. Okay, so here there are some examples like of man, Homo sheep, Homo sapiens, housefly, Musca domestica, Mango mangifera indica, Wheat triticum aestivum. Genus of man is Homo, housefly Musca, Mango mangifera, Wheat triticum. Families Hominidae, housefly Muscidae, Mango Anacardiaceae, Wheat Poaceae. Man order is Primata, houseflies Diptera, Mango is Sapindales, and Wheat is Poales. Class of man is Mammalia, and of houseflies Insecta, Mango is Dicotyledon, and Wheat is Monocotyledon. Phylum or division are of man Chordata, of housefly Arthropoda, of Mango Angiosperm, and of Wheat Angiosperm. So here the chapter ends. So bye bye.